If you get the wrong credit card, it could cost you hundreds of dollars, whereas if you get the right one, that could unlock hundreds of dollars of cash back, free hotels, flights, and even more cool stuff. So I've looked through all the new offers, changes, and hidden gems to bring you, in my opinion, the 10 best credit cards of 2025. So let's start off with a card that is very beginner friendly, but at the same time has a lot of upside, and that is the Capital One Savor card. I have yet to talk to someone that has this card and has complained about it, and that is a very rare thing in the credit card world. This isn't a credit card that gives you 3% back in some goofy categories like the Wells Fargo Attune card. You get 3% back in dining, groceries, entertainment, and streaming services. And that is a ton of value for a card that has zero annual fee. On top of those earning categories, you're also going to get $200 after you spend $500 within 3 months. And in a couple minutes, I'll tell you why that's actually worth more than $200. And a reason why I love this card so much, and that it is the first up on the list, is that it has zero fluff. If you look at other credit cards like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, it gives you 3 points back in online groceries, which, is okay. I personally like going in and buying groceries for myself. I feel like there's something therapeutic about that. But you're gonna see a lot of credit cards with earning categories that really aren't that useful. But with the Savor card, the 3x on dining and groceries obviously speaks for itself. Those are two of my biggest spend categories, but the 3x on entertainment and then streaming services is also a category that I'm going to use every month because I can just put my Spotify subscription on there, and I like going to the movie theaters once or twice a month, so that's another nice 3x category that I'm going to consistently be using. Another reason why this is the first card up on this list is because it comes from Capital One, and Capital One has quickly become one of my favorite banks and credit card issuers. Everything from the application, onboarding experience, and user interface has just blown me away. The Savor actually launched as the premier rewards dining card, and the initial version of this card only came with a $100 sign-up bonus, and it only gave you 3% back at restaurants, 2% back at grocery stores, and then 1% back on everything else. So this Savor card is miles better than when it initially launched. In fact, I like the Savor card so much that I'm actually replacing my Amex Gold with it. Now, I usually don't recommend people open up credit cards that only give them 3% cash back because there are so many 5% back cards out there, but the Savor card actually fits into a bigger system. If you pair it with the next card on this list, the Capital One Venture X, that 3% cash back can actually turn into valuable travel miles. And I have no problem recommending the Venture X to anyone that can get approved for it. Whenever someone asks me what credit card they should get, and they tell me that they want a very simple setup, only one card, I always tell them to get the Venture X. Because if you travel at least one time per year, this credit card is going to pay you to hold it. It comes with a $395 annual fee, but the first thing that it gives you is a $300 travel credit. So as soon as you go and you book something through Capital One's travel portal, you're automatically going to get that statement credit. I just used my travel credit last week. It was very easy to use. Then every year, this credit card gives you 10,000 anniversary miles. I value those points at 1.5 cents per point, but even if you just value them at 1 cent per point, you're going to get an easy $100 worth of value. So if you add that with a $300 travel credit, that's $400 in very easy value, meaning Capital One is pretty much giving you $5 to hold this card. It also has a very nice welcome offer of 75,000 miles after you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months of having this card. That's a minimum of $750 when you book that for travel, but you can easily get over $1,000 worth of value. It also gives you 10 points on hotels and car rentals booked through Capital One's travel portal, 5 points on flights booked through Capital One's travel portal, and then 2 points on everything else. And that 2 points on everything else is a big reason why I recommend this card to so many people that want a simple setup, because it is giving you a good flat rate on every single purchase you make. It also gives you some amazing travel benefits, and all the benefits are just icing on the cake because you're not paying for these. First up is Priority Pass and then Capital One Lounge Access. I love the way Capital One handles their lounges. You can go on the app and add yourself to the wait list and see how busy they are. This also comes with a statement credit for global entry or TSA pre-check, Hertz presidential status so that you can get free upgrades on your car rentals and then skip the line, cell phone protection, and then a bunch of other premium benefits like primary collision damage waiver so that when Hertz asks you if you want to pay an extra $50 to insure your rental car, you can just decline that. And one of the best things about this card is that if you want even more value, you can combine it with the first card that I talked about, the Savor card, and then pool all your points together to use them for travel. And yes, this card did just lose the ability to bring 2 guests in with you for free to lounges, as well as having an authorized user with free lounge access. But this card still pays you to hold it. It still pairs up with the Savor card, and it is still one of the best flat rate cards out there. So this card still deserves a spot on this list. But if for some reason you don't want to pay an annual fee at all, or you can't get approved for this card, I want to show you guys the biggest gem in the credit card space right now, and that is the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards card. It starts off by giving you 50,000 points when you spend $3,000 within 3 months, which is about $400 to $500 worth of value. So not too bad for a no annual fee card. In fact, one of the highest bonuses I've seen out there. You also get 1.5 points on everything and then 4x on travel. On top of that, you get a statement credit for TSA PreCheck or global entry, no foreign transaction fee. But the best thing about this card and why it made the list is that you get a $100 statement credit for airline ancillary purchases. So you can use this for things like seat selection, lounge passes, in-flight food or drink, but probably the most popular one is going to be checked bags. Technically, this card has a $95 annual fee, but all you have to do is open up a free checking account with PenFed, which is a good idea anyways, because PenFed is a very good credit union that is relationship based. So you get to build that relationship up with them in case you need an auto loan or a mortgage or something in the future. But as long as you have that free checking account, the annual fee is going to be waived on this card. So if we shove aside the sign-up bonus, the TSA PreCheck, all that other stuff, this card is going to pay you $100 per year. So like I said, this is one of the most underrated cards out there, especially now that Southwest got rid of their free checked bags. So you might want to look into it. Next up on this list is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. You've probably seen this credit card before because every single YouTuber and blog talks about it, but that's for good reason. It has a $95 annual fee, but it has a $50 statement credit when you book hotels through Chase's travel portal. So it's really like a $45 annual fee. It's also going to give you 60,000 points after you spend $5,000 within 3 months. For the earning categories, it gives you 5 points back when you book travel through Chase, 3 points on dining, 3 points on online grocery purchases, 3 points on select streaming, 2 points on all other travel, and then 1 point on everything else. The 2 points on travel and then 3 points on dining can be useful, but this isn't a big spending card. There's really 3 reasons why it's on this list today. One is that you get a 25% boost when booking your points through Chase's travel portal, and that can be useful if you want to book a really cheap flight but can't find a redemption online. But more importantly, it transfers to Hyatt. This is how I've been using most of my Chase points. I just stayed in 3 Hyatts as I drove across the country. Next week, I'm going to stay in a Hyatt for an entire week, so you might even see me film out of one. But for all those redemptions, I got over 2 cents per point. Even on the lowest tier category 1 Hyatts that are the cheapest to book, you're going to have a really nice experience. They have really good breakfast. So for that reason alone, it deserves a spot on this list. But another big reason is that you can downgrade it to one of the Freedom cards, and those are both very good cashback cards. And you can also hit the sign-up bonus on the Chase Sapphire cards every 4 years. So you can get this card at the very least, get a $600 sign-up bonus, and then downgrade to the Freedom Flex or Freedom Unlimited. Just a reminder, if you want to get this card, check your 524 status first. That is a dumb rule that Chase has where if you have more than 5 credit cards in the last 24 months, they'll automatically deny you. But if you want a credit card that is similar to the Chase Sapphire Preferred but doesn't have that dumb 524 rule, look at the Citi Strata Premier. It gives you the same 60,000 points, but you only have to spend $4,000 in 3 months. And unlike the Sapphire Preferred, you can put quite a bit of spend on this card because in addition to giving you 10 points back on hotels, car rentals, and attractions booked through Citi.com, it's also going to give you 3 points back on restaurants, supermarkets, gas stations, and EV charging, as well as 3 points back on all other air travel and hotel purchases, and then 1 point on everything else. So this is one of the few cards in the market that gives you a good amount of rewards in your 3 biggest spend categories, which is gas, dining, and then fuel. This card also has a $95 annual fee, just like the Sapphire Preferred, but this card can potentially give you $5 a year to hold it because they'll give you a $100 hotel credit when you spend $500 or more on a hotel stay through their travel portal. And that just has to be a consecutive stay. So it could be 5 nights, it could be 3 nights, it could be 1 night, just as long as it's over that $500 mark in the same booking. Now, I've never spent that much on a consecutive hotel stay. Plus, I like to book most of my hotels with points. If not, I'm usually staying in Airbnbs, but this is still one of the best cards to get, even if you can't use that statement credit because of the downgrade path. So you can get the Strata Premier, get the sign-up bonus, and then after a year, you can downgrade to the Custom Cash, which is also one of the best credit cards of 2025. And that's because it gives you 5% back on your top spending category. And that includes restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, select travel, transit, streaming services, drugstores, home improvement stores, fitness clubs, and live entertainment. So a lot of different categories to choose from. This is really just a Swiss Army knife in your credit card setup. Worst case scenario, you can just throw your gym membership. You guys are all going to the gym, right? But if you want the Citi Custom Cash, I recommend that you get the Strata Premier and then downgrade to it because just like the Sapphire Preferred, you can hit the sign-up bonus every 4 years. So it's like you're getting the Custom Cash, but with a 60,000 point offer. All right, next card on this list is the Bilt MasterCard. If you rent right now, I'm begging you to get this card. It's such a powerful card. I don't even know how they're making money off of it. It's a 0 annual fee card, and it gives you 1 point per dollar spent on rent. And these points are the most valuable in the credit card game, and there's just so much going for this card. It also gives you 3 points back on dining and then 2 points on travel, as well as 1 point on everything else. And because these points are so valuable, like I said, they can be transferred directly to Hyatt or Alaska. This is not a bad card to put all your travel and then dining on. Unfortunately, this card does not have a sign-up bonus, and to be able to earn points, you have to use it 5 times per month. But like I said, the points are so valuable, you can use this as a dining card, so I don't think that's a problem. I don't really need to say anything else, guys. You've probably heard about this card before. It's overpowered right now, so if you're a renter, go ahead and jump on it. All right, next up on this list is the World of Hyatt credit card, and I know Hyatt's getting a lot of love in this video, but if you guys haven't stayed at a Hyatt yet, go try it out. Best hotel around. Anyways, the reason why this card made this list is because it comes with a $95 annual fee, but you get a free night at a category 1 to 4 property every year, meaning you can book a property that you'd usually have to pay $300 for free. And sure, Hilton and then Marriott has a card like that, but the reason this credit card is on the list and those aren't is 1, I like Hyatt more, but 2, there's probably more credit cards that you have in your everyday wallet, like Chase's cards and Bilt's card, that transfers to Hyatt also. So you can use this card to kind of supercharge your other cards in your setup. This card also gives you 30,000 points after you spend $3,000 within 3 months, and then an extra dollar spent on your first 6 months up to $15,000 to spend. It also gives you 4 points back on Hyatt's, and then 2 points on dining, airline tickets, gym memberships, transit, 1 point on everything else. Free discovery status, so you can get some room upgrades with that with Hyatt, and then no foreign transaction fee. So one of the best hotel cards out there if you ask me, one that I'm planning to add to my wallet pretty soon. The last 3 cards are some very, very good cashback cards, and if you watch my channel before, you know that I'm a big fan of having a hybrid setup. That is having your core travel credit cards, but then also combining some good cashback cards around them. First up is the AAA Daily Advantage. This is a credit card that gives you a $100 sign-up bonus after spending $1,000 within your first 90 days of opening it up. But where it stands out is that you get 5% back at grocery store purchases, 3% back at gas stations, electric vehicle charging stations, wholesale clubs, streaming services, pharmacies, purchases at AAA, 1% back on everything else, no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee. So one of the best grocery cards out there. You're going to be earning those rewards up to $10,000 a spend a year, meaning you can earn $500 of cash back per year, which is going to be fine for 99% of people out there. Great card for Costco. Also a good card to throw into the Chase trifecta because that usually does not have a card for groceries. And a very good alternative to the Capital One Saver card if you prefer cash back instead of travel. Next is the Ralph's World Elite MasterCard. This also gives you a $100 sign-up bonus after you spend $500 within 3 months, and it has some perks pertaining to Ralph's or any of the Kroger stores. It gives you 3% back on dining and fuel up to $6,000, 2% back inside a Kroger or Ralph's, 1% back on everything else, but the biggest thing with this card is that you get 5% back when you use it in mobile wallet pay. So whenever you have this card in Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, and you use it, you're going to get 5% back, making this one of the most versatile cards because wherever you're going, getting your oil changed, all those random places that you don't usually have a credit card for, you're going to be earning 5% back. The catch to this card is it's only up to $3,000 a year. That's why it's so low on the list, and I have a hard time recommending it to a lot of people just because it's kind of a niche thing. Good to fill all the little gaps in your setup, but the spend cap is very low. And then the last card on this list is the Amazon Prime Visa. This credit card gives you 5% back on Amazon, Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh, Chase Travel, and then 2% back at gas stations, restaurants, local transit and commuting, 1% back on everything else, no foreign transaction fee, and right now they're instantly going to give you a $150 Amazon gift card if you're approved for it. So it's pretty self-explanatory why this card is on the list. 0 annual fee card that gives you 5% back on Amazon, which no other card can do. Amazon's so much cheaper than pretty much any physical location. It comes the next day. You can furnish an entire apartment for like $1,500, $1,300 on Amazon. It's pretty crazy, guys. So this is a staple in my wallet. Love the Amazon Prime Visa. You do have to have a Prime membership to get 5% back. If you don't, you're only going to get 3% back, but that's okay because if you ever want to stop paying for Prime, that's going to go down to 3%, but as soon as you start paying for Prime again, it's going to go back up to 5%. If you guys are interested in applying for some of these cards, I have referral links down in the description of this video. If you guys use them, it really helps me out. But if not, you can click this video here and I explain what credit cards that I'm personally going to add, what credit cards I'm using, and all that good stuff. I think you guys will think it's cool. I think you guys are cool. I'll see you guys later.